Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so when we talk about AI civilization today, the conversation is pretty much dominated by one thing, right? Computing power. We're all picturing these massive, humming data centers and this relentless drive to just maximize output. But beneath all that surface level hype, a completely different movement is actually taking shape. AI is beginning to sink into a much deeper, honestly, much more vital layer of our existence: human social reproduction. We're basically looking at the dawn of a companion civilization, a world where AI actually functions as our care infrastructure. So today we're going to unpack exactly why this transition is happening and, what it really means for our collective future.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The conventional view of AI civilization is, well, it's all about expansion and efficiency. We generally see it as this giant calculating tool designed for productivity, workflow automation, and, yeah, labor replacement. And honestly, it makes total sense. I mean, the most immediate, in-your-face impact of AI is that it helps us produce significantly more stuff with far fewer people. It is absolutely a compute civilization. But, and this is crucial, if we just stop our analysis right there, we completely miss the true civilizational impact. Because while compute and productivity are great starting points, they literally cannot sustain a civilization all on their own. To really grasp this shift, we have to look at where the ultimate bottleneck of our society actually lies. Historically, and especially in the early days of this whole AI boom, the main question has always been, what can we produce? How do we optimize? How do we scale this up? But as intelligence scales and all that production gets automated, the bottleneck completely shifts. It moves away from mere output to a much more profound question. Can humans continue? Think about it for a second. For any civilization to survive, let alone thrive, its people have to be able to work, learn, raise kids, age gracefully, rest, recover from illness, and continually reconnect with society. If that basic fabric of human continuity starts to fray, well, all the productivity in the world doesn't really matter. The real challenge of a highly advanced civilization isn't just generating more data, it's managing the immense, everyday burden of maintaining human life. Now, what's really interesting about this next concept is that we actually need to completely redefine a word that we use every single day. When you hear the word care, you probably instantly picture a hospital, right? Or maybe elder care or child care. But in the context of civilizational analysis, care is so much broader than that. Care is essentially the invisible operating system of our society. It is the underlying structure that helps people avoid breaking down, avoid total isolation, and successfully reconnect with the world around them. We're talking about the continuous daily maintenance required to keep human beings functioning without losing their connection to reality. It's mental health support. It's navigating impossibly complex daily decisions, overcoming loneliness, and even just finding basic administrative guidance. And that brings us to the actual driving force behind this massive shift. Because here's the thing, AI isn't just forcing its way into the care sector because some tech developer thought it was a neat idea. No, AI is being actively pulled in by massive, undeniable societal pressures. Just look at the real-world pressures we're facing today. We've got rapid aging of populations, a literal epidemic of loneliness, chronic shortages of care workers, overwhelming administrative complexity, and just this ever-increasing mental load required to navigate everyday life. Ironically, as our civilization becomes more advanced, it generates this massive, exhausting decision-making load on the average person. The sheer cost of maintaining everyday life is skyrocketing, and I don't just mean financially, but cognitively and emotionally too. These overwhelming demands act like a giant vacuum, structurally pulling the capabilities of AI straight into the layer of social reproduction. And this brilliantly illustrates the inevitable structural magnetism between what we desperately need and what AI can actually do. Let's look at the two sides of this. On one hand, what does effective care actually require? Well, it demands continuity, highly personalized attention, patient explanations, meticulous record keeping, support for really tough decisions, and a reliable bridge to larger institutions. Now, on the other hand, what are the native built-in capabilities of modern AI? Relentless conversation, instantaneous documentation, deep search, reasoning support, 24/7 availability without ever getting tired, and virtually infinite personalization. I mean, it's a perfect structural fit. AI can endlessly deliver the exact things human society currently lacks the emotional bandwidth and manpower to provide at scale. Let's move to how this unfolds and see how this builds, because this integration into society definitely doesn't just happen overnight. It actually rolls out in 3 distinct phases. Step 1 is Care Assist. In this phase, AI acts as a backstage tool. It's helping doctors with medical records, automating administrative tasks, and basically just reducing the burden on human workers.
Then we hit step 2, care companion. This is where AI moves to the front stage. Think of mental health companions, highly personalized learning tutors, or even habit trackers that literally accompany our daily lives. The AI becomes a continuous contact surface for us. Finally, we reach step 3, care infrastructure. This is the big paradigm shift, where AI gets embedded directly into our social institutions. It completely transitions from being just a handy personal app to becoming the foundational operating system for regional care, medical triage, and public consultation. Of course, we have to approach this evolution objectively. The intersection of care and AI introduces some profound, very real structural risks. First up is care dependence. Look, if an AI companion is literally always there to soothe our anxiety and make our decisions for us, our capacity for human resilience and actual human-to-human relationships could seriously weaken. Second is care inequality. The gap between those who have access to high-quality AI care infrastructure and those who don't will deeply impact how people are able to navigate society. And third is care commercialization. There is a very real danger of markets treating human vulnerability, loneliness, and aging simply as reliable, recurring revenue streams. So the core challenge here isn't just about adopting the technology, it's about deliberately designing the trust, the boundaries, and the institutions around it.
So the crucial point is this. When we look at the deep structure of AI civilization, the issue of intelligence and the issue of care literally cannot be separated. As society gets more and more complex and our cognitive load increases, we require an entirely new kind of care structure just to sustain human life. AI civilization is not just about building a faster machine to replace human labor anymore. It is a profound process of AI sinking into the very fabric that keeps human society intact. We are moving from a civilization that calculates to a companion civilization, a civilization that accompanies. AI is becoming the new contact surface for our daily lives, a much-needed buffer against isolation, and the very infrastructure of our continuity. So as you go about your day today, consider where you already feel the need for that kind of accompaniment, and ask yourself, how will we choose to shape the boundaries of this new companion civilization?